Parasocial relationships, as much respect as you have for an artist, can't supersede a level of how you view the person because they are in fact just a person. The value of a fan base can make or break your career, but it can truly create an everlasting place for an artist because you'd be nowhere without your fans. But it is a mental illness to create a relationship with a celebrity, and I think a lot of people have a genuine problem with this situation and nobody wants to really talk about it. Because they don't want to hurt the same fans that made them a star, and if they do call it out, it's a bad business move to tell your fans to go touch grass. A lot of parasocial relationships really develop from a character facade. We, the audience, we see the talent, we see the artistry, and we are fascinated by the things that we can't do. Some people wish they could dance, some people wish they could sing, some people wish they had the same opportunity or they had a million followers. So we see them as someone we want to become or simply just appreciate the work they put out there. Stan culture, or the word stan, was introduced by Eminem with his song Stan. The song is about a crazy fan who craves for Eminem's attention to the point he ends up offing himself and his pregnant girlfriend. It's not a true story, but he wrote it because he was worried about some of his fans and the weird letters they would write to him. This was around the time that Slim Shady was super popular, and his Slim Shady persona was vulgar and an angry personality. He would talk about killing his wife and doing crazy things, but it was simply just a character that Eminem created for himself. Even if you can differentiate the two, some people simply can't separate the character from the person. So he wrote the song to send a message that still holds value. Stan culture, although beneficial, is crazy as fuck. We look up to and we idolize people that we shouldn't. We think of them as greater because they are talented. But what happens when our perception of them makes us believe that they are more of a god status? And yes, God. There's a church that praises Beyonce. Literally praises her and uses her songs as teachings along with the Bible. It's called the Beyonce Mass, and it's a womanist worship service that uses the music and personal life of Beyonce as a tool to foster an empowering conversation about Black women and others.
I'm at Grace Cathedral in San Francisco, California. Hundreds of folks are going to come here to witness the Beyonce Mass, bringing together secular music and a religious message to tell a story of empowerment for particularly women of color, but for anyone who happens to sing praises to the goddess herself, Beyonce. I'm gonna work harder, I'm a survivor, I'm gonna make it, I'm a survivor, keep on surviving.
Yo, I'm out of breath because we sang Beyonce in church. Holy cow.
We do have a community that is youthful and loving and looks to the world as a partner, not an enemy. So if that's new to you, I hope it's good news. God actually loves you.
What can you tell me about the progressive nature of Grace Cathedral?
I think a lot of the people who show up tonight are people of color, LGBT people, people on whom other people's narratives have been projected. And I mean, just to be honest, the church hasn't been the best about lifting up those voices. It really began as us saying, how can we actually be the people of God that we hope to be in the world?
And Beyonce is the perfect passage to get that message out there.
Honestly, I think Beyonce is a better theologian than many of the pastors and priests in our church today. That is not an exaggeration.
They sing praise and dissect her song lyrics as part of God's worship. I get them using her songs for inspiration because we're not going to act like we don't have a specific song in our lives that helped us exit a situation or uplift our mood, but it's the fact that they're tying it in with God that makes it kind of weird. It's basically a cult following if we're going to use specific terms. It was held at multiple colleges like Spelman, it was held at Grace Cathedral, and even Stanford University. For Beyonce's VMA concert, she put up signs that said, "God is God, I am not." But even then, I guess some people didn't get the message. A lot of people get warped into the artistry, and not many acknowledge how powerful art truly is, where you know every single thing about them without actually knowing them, but feeling like you guys are connected. With stan culture, we're eager to know who they are as a person. Like, what is their personality behind the image? A lot of people don't realize that the presentation is their best version of themselves. We see it daily, even on social media. You're supposed to put your best foot forward to the eyes of the public. All the shits and giggles blind the public to who the person really is, especially when they're presented with a spotlight on them. We absolutely know nothing about Beyonce. We don't know her personality, we don't know her sense of humor, how she is when she's angry or genuinely sad. We only know what has been presented to us for what she actually wants us to see. Beyonce has mastered disassociation from her fans while remaining someone her fans can turn to. One thing about Beyonce is the mystery factor that surrounds her. All we know is the whispers from what other people say about her, from people that know her personally or work with her, and they proclaim nothing but great things. We don't have a reason to believe she's anything other than a good person. I actually used to feel bad for Kelly and Michelle because they would do interviews and would be asked about Beyonce because that's the closest way anybody could get a piece of information about her.
Talking about new music, all the talk this week has been about Beyonce's new album. Have you heard it yet? Have you had an opportunity to give some thoughts on the whole thing?
I sure have. It's great. It's absolutely great.
Really different though, right?
Yes, really different.
But
getting back to what I'm here to talk about,
Yeah.
Claritin, I'm very excited to be teaming up with Claritin.
I've had 5 students ask me, can we call Beyonce? Can we just try to get a hold of Queen Bee? They keep asking me.
Oh, now y'all woke up.
How many of y'all want to
just
call?
used me.
Y'all want to have a conversation with Beyonce? Yes.
Y'all just used me and I don't appreciate it.
No, we love you, but you have
Don't
friends.
try it.
You got friends.
You said I love you, but.
It's not me. These students just say, can we call Beyonce? They want to pray for Beyonce.
Y'all are so shady.
They're concerned.
Concerned about what? She just had a baby. She just had babies. She's
We want
good.
to pray for her. We want to offer babysitting services for her and Jay-Z. We're just servants. We will do an LU Send Now trip to Beyonce's house and serve her family.
All right, let me see.
Are you really going to call her?
Yes.
But because she presents herself as humble and sweet, which I'm sure she is, her fans developed a relationship with her strictly from her kindness and work ethic without her having to even speak to them. We don't have a negative image about Beyonce, but what about the people that showed us they aren't good people or they have questionable behaviors? I mean, we saw it with R. Kelly, probably the best example of separating the art from the artist, an R&B legend who was also a creep. R. Kelly was preying on young girls for years, and when he married Aaliyah when she was 15, according to the New York Times, Kelly bribed an Illinois governor in order to obtain a fake ID for her. The fake ID said she was 18. How the fuck was that even possible? Especially from Aaliyah's status at the time. It's just like, no questions were asked. Like, how did he truly get away with that?
It's good to know that there's a lot of people out there that don't see nothing wrong with it either.
R. Kelly set a chart record this year, scoring the longest-running #1 song on the R&B charts, Bump and Grind. Kelly also found time to write and produce top 10 hits for his teenage bride, Aaliyah.
That was really just the beginning. That did not stop his career. Years later, the video surfaced of him pissing on that 14-year-old girl. And you know what people did? They bought the tape, they watched it, and they protested during his trials in his favor. Stan culture enables people to continue bad behavior if the price is right, because it didn't stop people from listening to his music and going 5 times platinum. Not even after surviving R. Kelly, and during his trial, his streaming went up by like 500% on Spotify. Nor did the entire duration of his career from the 90s did people give a fuck about his predatory actions towards young girls. Nobody cared, and his future girlfriend sure as hell didn't care either. Stan culture allows excuses even when we visibly see that their actions are inexcusable, but sometimes we're led to believe that these humans are at the hierarchy when it comes to character based off of their star power. We're surprised that they have an odd behavior when in fact it shouldn't be a surprise because we don't actually know these people. So when Doja is on a self-sabotage train, outwardly told her fans she doesn't love them because she doesn't know them, and she didn't lie. I'm sure Doja loves and appreciates her fandom, but she doesn't know her fans. And as her fandom, I know you guys care and want to let her know she's messing with a man that may not be good for her career or simply for herself, but she is choosing that man. She chose him. He has been outed for his behavior towards young women, what's new, and has faced his own set of repercussions for it. But I'm gonna be honest, Doja doesn't give a fuck. I don't think she cares, and that's the sad truth. Unfortunately, a lot of women and men realistically don't care that much sometimes about their partner or friend's past. A lot of people knew R. Kelly was a predator and the stuff he did. A lot of women continue to develop relationships with him even after the continuous backlash. Because if people really cared that much, R. Kelly would have been done years ago. But because his music is fire, it's like, oh, well, You know, you turn a blind eye. R. Kelly's career would have been done years ago if people cared. Half these big name rappers and top executives wouldn't have a successful career today. Doja, even with her superstar career, still spends time in Tiny Chat telling white men to fuck her in her ass. I don't know, allegedly.
Can't take it anymore. Like, literally, like, I can't take it. Like, you should honestly, you should take my asshole. You should take my asshole and you should fucking like make friends with it. Like, it's a big deal.
Man, you an asshole.
Yeah, right? Oh, yeah.
Wait.
As her fans, you'd think she'd stop associating herself with Tiny Chat after the scandal years ago. But no, because that's who Doja is, and that's what she actually likes to do. Outside of music, that's damn near her playtime. But again, we hold these celebrities to a hierarchy of character without acknowledging that's who they really are. There is a difference between appreciation and idolization of celebrities. Some people become infatuated and brainwashed about what appears to be crystal clear. This is their career. We don't know them outside of their career, and you never will. And if they don't want to act accordingly to protect the image of their career, then you shouldn't be standing them so hard, or really anybody, matter of fact.
There was no internet people taking pictures of you and putting your personal life or exploiting your personal life as entertainment. I think people are so brainwashed. You get up in the morning, you click on the computer, you see all these pictures, and it's all you think of is the picture and the image that you see all day, every day, and you don't see the human form. And I think when Nina Simone put out music, you loved her voice. That's what she wanted you to love. That was her instrument. But you didn't get brainwashed by her day-to-day life and what her child is wearing and who she's dating and, you know, all the things that really, it's not your business.
But that concludes today's video. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe. Toodles!